Welcome to Spaghetti Launchers, a world-building podcast. We throw spaghetti at the wall, and it's up to you what sticks. I'm Kyle.
I'm Ethan. Today, we are going to be rediscussing Knightly Orders.
This is a callback to one of the first episodes we did on this podcast about a year ago. And if you want to listen to that old episode, you're welcome to, but the format is different.
We had some solid ideas in that.
We had some good ideas.
It wasn't bad.
But it was, like an hour of us rambling.
It was a little bit.
So now it'll be about a half hour of us rambling, and we'll have just our two ideas to present today.
Focused conversation, not rambling.
Yeah.
An interrogation of those ideas.
Exactly. I don't know that we teased up several of the Knightly Order ideas during that. Like the Jedi was your favorite Knightly Order to reference.
Yeah, because they're the easiest. I don't know necessarily that they're
the
my...
Knights Who Say Knee are the easiest.
Absolutely. I think Star Wars has way broader reach than...
Yeah, but the Knights Who Say Knee have knights in the name.
Because the Jedi...
Knights.
Yeah,
but it's...
You got there.
Yeah. But it's not in the name of the Order.
Yes.
It's the Jedi Order. It's not the Jedi Knight Order. The Order of Jedi Knights.
I don't know.
No, you don't know.
I don't know. I think it's. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think it still works. But there are others.
Like what?
My lingering childhood obsession with the Power Rangers is still very real, and I think they're a great example of it, especially because there are only 5 of them.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that they're small is kind of cool.
Yeah, because often Knightly Orders are compact.
Yeah,
there's not a ton of them. It's like
SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, like the Rohirrim of Rohan are not a Knightly Order, but they're
more of an army.
Yeah,
I want to distinguish between a Knightly Order and an army.
Yeah, like a Knightly Order is like a smaller group that's usually banded by a specific cause, goal, principle,
right?
Creed, whatever, and they do a thing based upon that.
I would say the Nazgul.
They're a Knightly Order.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, Knightly Orders are
Death
not
Knights, but yeah.
Knightly Orders are not always good.
Yeah.
It's more fun if they're not good.
Yeah.
My speed round will be a not so good Knightly Order.
Really?
I consider doing it for my main one, but I went a different route. But
that's interesting.
Yeah. So because
you don't want to have a super long evil discussion with me? Why not?
No, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
As long as the City of Teeth doesn't get bad back in.
No, we discussed the City of Teeth. The City of Teeth is that mouth is closed.
Nice. I could have done the Knights of the City of Teeth.
You could have done the Knights of the City of the Teeth.
What episode did we talk about that in?
Planes of Unpleasantness? Evil Planes. Planes of Evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there so that if anybody wants to understand what this reference is from and never listened to the episode, that's where we discussed the Teeth City.
Still pretty proud of that idea.
It's a great fucking idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what
I'm not proud of it. I mean, but I am. I'm not pleased that I had it, but no, I am glad that I had it. It's a weird emotion. I'm sure the Germans have a word for it.
Probably. The Germans have a word for a lot of things.
For an idea that you're glad you had, but you're also ashamed of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Knightly Orders, I think we all kind of understand the basics of it. We could just probably get into it.
Is there one that we haven't discussed
that's
newer, more...
I feel like Samurai are a Knightly Order.
Absolutely.
Having recently watched Blue Eyed Samurai, which is phenomenal.
So good.
But they are a broader, a bigger Knightly Order that is more of... they're less bonded. They're more bonded to the ideas.
It's more of a warrior class than an explicit Knightly Order. But I think
Knights are a bit of a warrior class.
They absolutely were.
Yeah.
I think you could use those a little bit interchangeably, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that a knight was an order of an order of society or a branch of society in medieval Europe. So the Knights of the Round Table were already knights.
Yeah.
The Paladins of Charlemagne were already knights, right? These were smaller groups within a class of society, but I think you could, the line is fuzzy. So if one of our ideas goes into more a class or a branch of society, I'm not going to be mad at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Give me your 3 words, Kyle.
You give me your 3 words.
Marry, fuck, kill.
The face you made for it was great.
Again, an idea that I'm proud of, but a little ashamed of.
All right. Well, I look forward to fucking your knights. Mine is day laborers.
All right. I have no idea where you're going with this.
Okay.
But I'm intrigued. I'll trust you. You go first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about. So, anyway.
Yeah, but you have an idea. Yeah, but...
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So, I say that those words because it is a little bit more of a tease than what a more better description might be Good Samaritan.
Okay.
But I was inspired by the idea of day laborers because I wanted to take knights and put a different sheen on them. Remove the heavy armor every day.
Yeah.
They are still like elite warriors.
Sure.
They are the warrior class.
Jedi wear robes.
But what do they do every other day? And so what I wanted to do was take them and make them be a part of the populace. They are of the people. They are helping the people. So they sit in town squares in much like you would see day laborers gathered around looking for whatever task needs to be done.
Uh-huh.
They're doing that, but they're doing it more as goodwill ambassadors. They're not looking for money, but people know.
Oh, so they don't get paid.
They're paid by the king. They're on the king's payroll. The king has them do this to placate the populace, to make sure people are happy, make sure people's problems are being solved, because they are a Swiss Army knife. They are a multi-tool that can solve all types of problems. It could be that they need help fixing something, and these are strong, capable knights who are able to go take care of it. It could be that they need an extra hand hauling some shit from a neighbor's or to the barn or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It could be that there's it seems like there's something out in the woods near my farm. I need help to go kill it. Whatever it could be, they are a multi-tool who sits in this town square. They are wearing vestments that clearly denote that they are the knights.
They've got their symbol, the colors, the heraldry. It's all the same. I'm
calling them the reliables for the sake of simplicity.
All reliable.
And they have image, like people know who they are by what they're wearing, but they're not in heavy armor.
Yeah.
They might carry a sword, but they're not heavily armored and armed every day.
Are they specifically trained in other tasks? Like, are they trained in carpentry or cooking or healthcare? Even?
I don't think healthcare. I think that's not a part of what they're doing.
Okay. I was just thinking of random tasks.
Yeah, much like a day laborer can help you with pretty much any physical task that you have.
Sure.
They are filling that in many ways. They are doing anything that could be physical, and it could be also just I need like an emotional support today. I need to talk to somebody. It could be whatever. They are, because beyond just doing the physical tasks, they are also breeding good cheer. They're inviting people to come and hang out if they're looking for something to do. Come and like, we've made tea. Would you like a cup? It's the afternoon. Do you want a cup? Do you want a glass of beer? We're hanging out. We're playing checkers. We're doing all types of stuff, creating a convivial environment in this town square. But then if somebody needs them to do something real, they'll do it. And then then it also helps reduce it reduces the desire of the population to go to war, because if they do, they lose the reliables because they go to war.
So the society decides if they go to, like, war is voted on in this society.
No, not necessarily, but I just mean there's an upward pressure. If the knights are gone, the people are less happy. So it does act as a bit of a check on the king in a way of like, don't send them out to war because we kind of want them here. But that's also what they're trained for and best at. But they're also very good at this side of things. So it could be, oh, you need adventurers. You need someone to go deal with a problem that would be like very much like a D&D party task.
Yeah.
Well, you grab 4 reliables and send them out to deal with the task.
Right.
And it's not about the money. So it makes it, and the reliables are also doing it because they're gaining skills. They're gaining experiences. They have fun, keeps them sharp. They are mostly just like, They like the vibes.
So here's my question. Because you said something when you started talking about like, hey, it's the afternoon, come have a beer. I started thinking, if a group of fucking cops were hanging out in a park and were like, hey, come have a beer with us.
But they're not cops.
I would not do that. I would be super suspicious of that.
That's a good point.
Absolutely not. And similarly, if a bunch of soldiers in camo were like, hey, come have a beer, I'm still not sure that I'd be more open to it, but I'm still not 100% sure that I'd be like, hey,
okay,
cool.
Very good point. But also, they are not law enforcement. So that you're fine.
Okay.
They don't arrest.
So let's take the cops out, the law enforcement.
Yeah,
so if they
you,
go
you
in
added
and
it
they
in
see
here unnecessarily.
and they see drugs in someone's house when you've hired them to help like bring your
They don't
groceries
give a shit.
They don't care. They're under no obligation to report you to the king.
No.
Or to the law enforcement or
No.
to the guard or whatever.
No.
Okay. That's important. That's an important boundary.
You're right to point out that this could be a bit of a problem, but I think it's the fact that it is about creating goodwill.
Yeah.
Makes it so that the king also understands I can't have them be ratting people out. They are specifically there to be an assistant to everybody because they also reduce public service requirements. I don't need to have as many public services available because I've got my knights who in war are a huge asset, but we're not always at war. So if they're not here training, because there's some days where they will just be there training and whatnot, but then the other days they just go and hang out down there because what do they have to do?
And it's a broader definition of public service.
Yeah, they are public servants.
They're public servants.
Yeah, it's literally what they're doing.
Yeah. No, I like that, and I like that it puts a broader. It's a more interesting way. It's a more interesting way of taking the traditional Superman or even in the early days of D&D when you had to be lawful good in order to play a paladin, and they got the reputation of being, we're all buttoned up and we don't have like rogues in the party and finger wagging bullshit or Captain America, right? It's a different view of how you could be a good character like that, but not be rigid, button up, lawful good. Like you're still lawful good, but it's different, right?
It's like imagine the like a surfer dude on the beach who sees somebody struggling with a car. And it's like, I'll help you change your tire. Just like chill, like likes to help people, is buff, is available like to fight. If you don't want to fight the guy, but he's just like, hey man, I'll give you a hand.
Yeah.
What's up? Like, and just very happy-go-lucky in a way. And some of them could be a bit more buttoned up and down to business. But I think it's the fact that I'm assuming that they've created a culture amongst themselves that encourages a bit more of a relaxed attitude. Because it's also what they're doing is trying to make people happy. They're trying to make the population happy because that's part of their charge by the king, is keep these people happy, make sure their needs are being met, whatever's going on, and just be a good face.
You're here to serve.
Yeah.
Serve your people.
Yeah. And people are usually going to be kind of nice to them because they're helping them out for free and doing shit that's probably out of their wheelhouse. Like, you just went and killed some bandits for me. I couldn't do that. Thank you.
There are people that are out there doing good in the world anyway, already now, and they get shit on a lot.
Yeah.
And people will walk by, they'll spit on them. Like you see people out there at marches and parades giving free hugs and people are throwing shit at them. I imagine it's the fear of this being a paladin, right? That's why they're not going to do that to them.
Yeah.
Right?
But also,
because I don't want people looking at these people and saying, "Oh yeah, these people are knights, but they're also little bitches." Right?
Yeah, it'd be hard to do that because it would be like if there was people in, if there were Navy SEALs walking in the street in their Navy dress saying free hugs and someone tried to spit on them.
Yeah.
Like that's probably not going to go well for them.
Right.
And no one's really going to do it because they know it won't go well for them.
And maybe there's a difference between law enforcement and self-defense. Where they
they'll defend themselves, but they won't. What?
You know what their creed is?
What?
Do no harm, but take no shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to have that be the creed.
In my head, that's what it's going to be.
I mean, because I'm an optimist, so I want the world that this is in to be a bit more in that image that they are already they don't have to fight against people being cynical pieces of shit who are like, you want to help people? Well, go fuck yourself.
Right.
The people of this world have seen the benefits of it, and so they understand that this is good, and they are actually doing something useful.
Yeah.
Because almost everybody's probably asked for them to come help with something at some point. So they're like, oh yeah, no, they're not full of shit. They do stuff all the time, but also they are just kind of fun and will
They're good people.
And they're not offering free hugs. They're offering like a beer.
Yeah.
Things that are a bit easier to just, and they might be just having a party
every day.
Yeah, there's a cookout every fucking day at the town square.
Awesome. One fun last idea that you mentioned, since they have, you call them Swiss Army knives. Yeah. I think whatever their main arm should be, or whatever their main arm is, should be some sort of multi-tool.
Oh, so they've all got a
maybe it's a broadsword that you twist the handle and it comes out and there's a screwdriver in the handle, something like that, right? I think have it be like a sonic screwdriver, like from Doctor Who. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be fun that they all just have like they all have an like an adventurers pack or something, but it's all just it's a giant toolbox in a bag. So it's just like there's like a hammer clearly sticking out. Looks like there's like a saw blade has cut into the back of the burlap. There's like just things jutting out, and it's like it doesn't look very clean, but it's obviously just a sack full of tools.
Yeah.
And because I think they would still have a sword because that's also their main job.
Of
and
course.
if there's an attack, they will be fucking jumping in the fray.
Of course they will.
So yeah, you could have them have like a multi-tool weapon, but
that's just fun for me.
Yeah. But I also like the visual of them just being, what tool do I need? I don't know. Just grab them all.
Yeah. Utility belt style.
Yeah. A bit.
Yeah. I dig it.
Yeah.
They sound super reliable.
That's what they are. All right. That's that idea. Now let's move on to your noodles. Fuck, marry, kill.
Not necessarily in that order.
Kill, fuck, marry.
There you
go. In
go.
that order.
There you go.
Necrophiliac marriage.
Marry, kill, fuck. Necrophiliac marriage is marry, kill, fuck.
It
could go either way.
I think it's kill, fuck, marry. Or
kill, marry, fuck.
Kill, marry, fuck. It's
necroromantic.
Necroromantic.
Necromantic. Oh, that's already necromantic. Oh shit.
Anyway, that's staying in.
So my idea is called. It's a little. It's not as optimistic as yours. My idea is called the kin. Kin.
Okay.
Like family, people close to you, related.
Yeah.
That word. Inspired ever so slightly by the
Jonas Brothers.
Why? Fucking. My attention hangs on the edge of a knife. Why would you do that? What was I saying? I had to stop to admonish you.
That was your fault.
What was I saying? The kin. Right. So inspired ever so slightly by the Underworld series, where you had the Corvinus line
with the vampires. And
with
the vampires versus the werewolves.
Versus the werewolves, and the original immortal was this Corvinus, and had two sons that became the first vampire and the first Lycan, and it was this immortal bloodline, basically, right?
Yeah.
So in this world, I haven't figured out what it is, but there is some monster or creature that can only be effectively hunted or defended from by a particular bloodline. And so the knightly order, called the kin, is comprised of members of this bloodline.
Okay.
That there's something magical. Maybe they were blessed generations ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a particular cellular makeup like the X-Men. I don't know. Figure it out yourself. But this bloodline is called the kin, and they're the ones that can defeat these creatures. But what's important to me is that this is not... They are all technically family, but it's not run like a family, right? Like maybe the leader is still called father, just like for the vibes of it, but they don't. They treat themselves each other more like colleagues, because the marry, fuck, kill is not only the three words, but it's also sort of their creed.
What do you mean?
So as part of this, because these monsters are out there, part of their mandate is not just to go and hunt these creatures or protect from them, but is also to continue the bloodline. So they have to go out there and marry and have kids, and then train those kids to go kill monsters. So marry, fuck, kill.
Oh.
That's their credo.
Okay, so it's not a choice. It's all three are required.
All three are required. You have to take you take wives, you take partners. You procreate as much as you can.
Well, do they want it to be as much as they can? Because or do they want to keep? Because there's immortality for the kin.
I never said immortal. It was inspired by an immortal.
Okay.
But maybe it's more just they are super strong. I don't know. There's something special about them.
Would they want to keep it a bit tighter to not? They are powerful, and their power is diluted if they procreate too much. But
Why does it have to be diluted? Maybe it doesn't.
Because there is another kin who is capable of, like if we're thinking about like a power level for these kin, because of their special blood or whatever, they are more powerful than a normal person.
Correct. Oh, you're saying dilution more
in the grand scheme of
like competition.
Yeah.
Got it. I thought you were saying like as generations go on, they get weaker. And in my head, that's not how it works.
No, more of just there's more competition. Yeah. They are relatively diluted in power, so they might not want a ton of children running around. But it could be that it becomes a rival runaway situation of this half of the family or this branch of the family is fucking like crazy. They have a ton of kids coming up. Our side of the family has to start catching up. Me and my sibling both need to go get fucking going like bunnies because they're coming for us and we need to have kids to back us up.
I find it ironic that you just characterized as an optimist, yourself as an optimist, wanting people not to spit on
but it was in my world.
List.
In my world, they're optimistic, and yours are cynical.
And yours are cynical and Machiavellian.
Yeah. Well, because like in my world, I was starting from a baseline of optimism. You're starting from fuck, marry, kill, and from a more cynical space. So I'm jumping into cynical. I can do both.
I never said you couldn't. I just thought it was funny. Yeah. I just thought it was ironic.
Yeah, but
there are politics to consider, but the point is these monsters are so salient that they're increasing at such a rate that the kin need to keep up.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, yes, there are politics to it. I wasn't worried about, I was thinking more of the imperative, like we need soldiers.
Yeah.
To stand up to these things.
I guess it depends on what exactly is the thing you're facing. Will determine specifically how many kids do you need to be having question, which maybe can be held off to the side for now, I guess, because it could be either.
I think that's more part of the story rather necessarily than the lore, or I think then it'll get into more like who the characters are, what the interactions, what their goals are.
Do the kid need to be trained?
I imagine it's a bit like an X-Men thing where there are like schools for the gifted youngsters.
There's like schools for the kin.
Yeah, like who
manifest,
and maybe there are enough of them that they're sort of established and like, oh, you manifest and you have your eyes turn purple when you're born or something, and you're like, oh shit, this person's a kin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think. I'm just going with I'm taking away my question about do they want to be procreating, and I'm going to go with your original premise that they need to procreate a lot.
Right.
I think it works better if it's hard for them to have kids. Because
that does work better.
Because otherwise, a few generations and they've been Genghis Khan and everywhere, and all of a sudden you have their numbers are too big.
Yeah.
Let's go for elvish numbers.
Yeah.
That they need more, and it's hard for them to have more. And it could be that they're not particularly fertile. It could be that you go really dark and say that it is hard to carry a kin child to term.
Yeah. There are a lot of ways you could do that. That's a much more interesting restriction on the concept.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It could be you could say that ovulation, that the kin men are only ovulating or once a year,
or maybe that the kin genome is they function normally, it's easy to give birth, but maybe it's not always guaranteed to be passed on. So
they might not be a kin.
They might not be. They might just be normal. It's like instead of maybe like a 1 out of 4 chance, you're not like a quarter kin. It's like a 1 in 1,000 dice roll.
Okay.
And so maybe that's interesting because then maybe the kin. There's a group of the kin that are studying obsessively, trying to figure out what are the factors that increase the likelihood. Like, is it a full moon when the child was conceived?
Yeah, I think you could do that.
Like, I think that might be more. That could be interesting.
I like. Again, going back to your core idea, I think if it's hard to conceive, so they're just fucking all the time everywhere. They're just like the biggest horn dogs in the world.
Yeah.
And they just can't get people pregnant. It's just not a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
But then almost like in a very strange, like roadie kind of way, like if you do become pregnant by a kin, it's like really special.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like, so everyone's just like, yeah, please put it in me.
Holy
like,
shit.
Yeah, like I get to have a kid. Like,
right. Or let me put it in you, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's both. It's men and it's all genders all set, right? Like it is just harder to, it's sort of inspired by The Witcher, like the idea, they famously are Witchers are sterile.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to not be sterile because
well then, hold on.
I like this idea much more. This is much more interesting.
But then why don't the kin just fuck each other?
I built it in my head that it's impossible. There's something about the genetics that just doesn't work.
The incest won't work.
It just does not work.
Cool.
Build it in. I don't care how.
Yeah, because then it's just you just create like an elitist class and it's kind of uninteresting.
Yeah,
if it is
Habsburgs,
we have to fuck somebody else because we can't get pregnant.
Yeah,
internally.
I imagine that someone tried, and I imagine that there's maybe a group of scientists that are still trying right, like that are still trying to figure out how to do it. How to increase the likelihood of...
Well, maybe not, because maybe the kin they just kind of like fucking at this point. They're like, it's nice, and we don't really get pregnant, and when we do, that's the goal. So, like, it's rare, but when it happens, it's great. So maybe they're just like, yeah, we just don't investigate. Just give us the Kama Sutra and let us go.
Sure. Yeah. That could be it. It could also maybe it's not a like officially sanctioned scientist. Maybe it's a villain of the kin who's trying to build their own super army by recreating kin and their own, and cloning them or something like that. Yeah. Right. It's I think that's a possibility, but it's.
So what is the relationship of the kin as a order to the state, to other powers? Are they ignored? Are they just like, yeah, you do your own thing? Are they a problem? Are they a solution? How do people view them?
I think individuals can be problems. They, as a whole, are a solution.
Okay.
Because
they have a good relationship with the states.
Correct. Even if they don't like them, I'm not saying they're necessarily pleasant to deal with all the time. You can figure out what they're like to deal with for yourself or your own world or concept or story or characters. I don't care. At the end, though, like they serve a purpose. They are there because there is something about that bloodline and whatever you want the monsters or the cause, the enemy that they're fighting to be, that they are the only ones that can stop it. And maybe it's that let's just say they're shadow demons. I don't care. Shadow demons can be killed by normal arms and means, but they resurrect immediately and only a kin kills them permanently.
Interesting.
It's something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the way that it works. So they are ultimately a solution. I think individual kin, like who might be malaffected or upset or depressed, who go out starting trouble, starting shit. Maybe one of them has sex with the king's wife, right? Like, or the king or the queen's husband. I don't care, right? Yeah. But I think as an order, it's well understood. Like they are the solution.
To the point of why they can kill the shadow demon or whatever it is, I think it'd be kind of cool if it was they each have a sword and it's their blood specifically that can help actually fully kill these things, and that like when you grab the handle on the sword, it will like prick you, and in a very vampiric way it will just suck a little bit of blood, and that blood will go like travel down the blade, and that blade and that is like the poisoned coating is their blood that allows them to actually kill whatever these monsters are, so that because it's all like empowering anybody who is a kin to do it through something so simple, because it's just like, oh, like if it's just like a magic power, that's one thing.
Sure.
But if it is, you need to have something that is inherent and easy to access that allows you to finish a kill.
And you wouldn't let me play a Blood Hunter.
But I'd let you play a Blood Hunter.
You literally told me I couldn't play a Blood Hunter.
I don't think I did. I think I just advised you that's dumb because it's a bad class.
No, you said they're dumb, they're a bad class, and I don't want one at my table.
Oh, because I've had one at my table before, and it was dumb.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just giving you shit.
I think it's a cool concept. I just think it's mechanically not that good. And by that I mean I think it's mechanically bad.
But
D&D podcast.
The point is, I think that's great. I love that idea, and that builds in some rituals with the kin.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
and it just builds in a simple mechanic that makes that, because like you can do an elaborate thing as to why they can kill these monsters. But I like just simplifying it and saying,
I do too.
These are important people and they're powerful, and they have an actual purpose that is tangible and everyone understands. Let's make it something like that.
Yeah,
because you could. I mean,
I like simple too.
Then you could also make it where people just kill kin and harvest their blood and use that on weapons. But
absolutely,
you could also you could build in some protection against that. Could be that it's like only fresh blood from a kin.
Maybe only blood that's willingly given.
Something like that. It could be whatever you want it to be, but just doing something that creates a simple reason why they themselves are important and why they can do this and not everybody else.
I've been leaning much more into simplicity.
Yeah.
These days, I think there's
simplicity in world building is great.
It's great. It's like, because the point is to like get lost in that abyss of imagination, right? And simple ideas or not even fully fleshed out ideas are much easier to do that. So one thing I do that's now occurring to me since I mentioned the Blood Hunters is that the kin is a cool in-game mechanic for pretty much any class in a TTRPG that you want to play. To just say, hey, I have this bloodline. That's why I'm, instead of an Aasimar, I'm a kin, and it's the same mechanics, but you're just, or that's why I can attack 4 times and most people can only attack twice. No, I don't care.
I think it's just, I don't think you do something mechanically different other than if we fight this specific monster, I can actually kill it. You guys can't. You'll just,
that's even better.
Like you will not be able to do damage to it, but I can. But it's more of creating that social stature.
Yeah.
From an RP perspective.
It's much better.
For social encounters, I have a stature that you guys don't by this idea of kin, because you don't want to create a power dynamic that is not fun for anybody else.
I wasn't thinking a power dynamic in any other, except just like, this is why I didn't take an oath as a paladin. My paladin abilities are just like flavored as kin abilities. It was just a flavor thing.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. But I like your idea better. I think that's more fun as a gaming mechanic, too.
Yeah. I want to circle back to the idea of the fuck, marry, kill, and the fact that they're getting married should they be? Or should they be fucking everybody and polyamory? And I
was going to say, you're assuming...
It would be like open marriages because they need to be procreating. So
basically, yeah.
And especially... And it might be that, like, this... It's open marriage the second your spouse is pregnant. Well, specifically, if you're male kin, if you're female kin, you're like, well, we're good. Yeah, like we're good now. But maybe if you're female kin, it's anybody and everybody. Come on.
Yeah.
If you're male kin, it's like, well, I'll just stick with the wife, and the second she's pregnant, I move on to somebody else to keep trying because I can't get her pregnant because she's already pregnant.
Right. Or they know it's polyamory. Like, it's not necessarily monogamous. That's a projection. You make it however you want. If you want it to be and I will admit, I am pushing for that mostly because I think having marry, fuck, kill as the creed is like
funny.
Really, like the 12-year-old in me is still laughing at this idea.
Yeah.
And I like that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make that work. You obviously don't have to, but for me,
but I think the marriage
makes
is sense.
Interesting, right? But, like particularly because of the social class elements that you keep.
Because it's also discussing. Like, I mean, they very well like may be in love and have a partner that they love and marry, but then they're just like, but our whole goal as the kin is to to procreate. So I am going to just like senselessly fuck everybody else too, because we just need more children. That's the whole point. And anybody who's marrying a kin is aware of that. Of like, like this is an open thing because it has to be. Yeah, because that's the whole purpose, and because it's like a public service.
Right. This
is my duty, is to help make sure that you can create more kin.
Right.
Because we need more kin to fight off the shadow demons or whatever the fuck it is.
Correct.
Which it just creates such interesting social dynamics that are so different, and they are uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they are like new agey in a way.
Sure.
Yeah.
And depending on how realistic you want to be, maybe it's something where kin simply cannot get sick, so there is no risk of STDs. If you want to bring that in there, you could include that in there,
or just hand wave and be.
That's what I'm saying. That is a way of hand waving. Just saying they can't get sick. That is the hand waving.
Yeah.
Or you could live in a world without STDs. That's also
that's
the whole point.
That's what I was saying. Hand waving.
But
like, there's no.
I did HIV, so that's where my brain immediately goes. So
you did HIV
work in my past. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's the kin.
Cool. I like it. All right. Do you want to move on to the speed round?
I do.
Okay. Well, what's your speed round?
Rats.
And?
No, they're trained rats that you put little rat armor on, and they're your nightly order. But you just like Pied Piper them and like lead them all over the city, and you can train them to like attack and infiltrate and do all this shit.
So they aren't the rats of Redwall.
Or Redwall.
No,
they're literally rats.
They're literally rats you just train. It's like gladiatorial combat for rats.
Yeah, right. But no, it's just rats that you've trained
as a Pied Piper.
Yeah, as a Pied Piper. That's it. It's just rats.
I like it.
Yeah.
My speed round is the Order of Nightmares.
It's
It's a nightly order that you enter with a bit of a trial by fire, where you have to enter this realm of nightmares and come out alive. And if you do, you are a member of the order. If you don't, you're dead because you have gone mad and they have killed you as a result of that.
Bro.
And then it is what they do is primarily very Freddy Krueger style, very like Forsaken from Wheel of Time. They fuck in the realm of dreams,
right?
And they will haunt people, and then they will manifest their nightmares upon them in the real world. So they will understand, like they will basically inception you with nightmares, and then they will make those come true in the real world. And the reasoning, TBD, but that's it.
That's very cool, and I like it because it's almost more like a test of mental fortitude rather than physical.
It is.
Yeah, that's much more. Yeah, I did. Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Well, that's speed round. So let's move on to see what stuck for us. For me, what stuck was
throwing spaghetti at a wall.
Wow.
See what stuck.
I like fucking around with the social dynamics a lot on the fuck, marry, kill shit. On the kin. I think the social dynamics are really cool there. I really like the reliables, just as I like messing around with the idea of knights being not particularly knightly and just being very chill,
normal people,
but not just like the knight that's off duty but isn't a prick, but is like a cool dude. And I like the vibe of the convivial atmosphere on a town square, where it is truly a public space. We can go with whatever you have, and there are people there who will help you. And you can go there without anything, but just to hang out and to have a good time. And you could also, you could have in that world that it's not just the reliables that are hanging out there, that you could have other people like artisans and craftsmen who are bored and don't have any clients or any work to do that day. So they go hang out down at the town square, and they also pitch in.
Yeah.
And whenever it becomes relevant, I think
you could do that.
You could have just like a fun, optimistic society,
sure,
where public spaces are truly a third place, a gathering point, and everybody can go there and help each other out.
I hadn't thought of it that way. That's cool though, because I have this image in my head of maybe the reliables have been called off to serve to war, to serve in battle, and they come home and they're beleaguered and they're tired, and maybe they've lost a couple,
and everybody's there for them.
And
the welcome home.
And it's in the square. It's the weekly, the daily gathering. It's happening without them.
Yeah.
A. B. It's there for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I got some chills from just the positive vibes on that.
Yeah.
What's stuck for you?
That number one. High five myself on that one. The other thing, I really like what you did. With it being about the blood of the kin.
Yeah.
And having that be the special thing.
Yeah.
Because I also, one of the reasons I like this idea is, yes, you could make it, oh, these people have superpowers that nobody else has. But I like it about it being the blood because the way you described it, it's not like they are necessarily any different from any other person.
Yeah.
Except for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's just the blood. Their blood is the thing that can kill the thing permanently. So yeah, they go through very specialized training. So they're excellent soldiers, but they're not super strong. They're not super fast. They're not super anything else.
Yeah.
It's just their blood.
Yeah.
I that's very. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Cool. What's it stuck for us? Let us know what's stuck for you. Emails in the show notes.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.